Oh, and welcome everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. Super excited to do a webinar with you all. I do have the wonderful Megan Clark helping us facilitate the webinar today. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out in the chat and we'll definitely address them later on. There are some QR codes for us to scan and download some great content pieces. One about the trend report, which we'll be discussing today. The other is about our new product launch called Intiveo Direct, which is really in response to where we see the industry heading and how we can best support offices across North America. So if you want to learn more about this, essentials patient experience platform, this is definitely the right link to scan. So I know we still have people filing in, but I'm going to do my best to make sure we start on time here, because I know we're all busy and we all probably kicking on some coffee or lunch, and I don't want us to be late for our next appointment. So without further ado, maybe we'll just jump right in. And if anyone has any questions, like I said, feel free to reach out in the chat, and Megan will interrupt me and let me know what they are, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. Sound good? Wonderful. Well, hi, everyone. My name is Joshua DeVries. I am the co-founder and CEO of Intiveo. I just wanted to personally thank you for joining our webinar, where we're going to be covering the most need-to-know information about our annual dental trends report. So without further ado, let's get started. So today we're going to learn a lot. First and foremost, we're going to learn how augmented intelligence, not just artificial intelligence, is helping dental teams strengthen patient engagement. We're also going to talk about how innovative practices are diversifying offerings and building patient trust. We're going to talk about why operational alignment has become a top priority in driving practice and staff health, where practices are investing to acquire new patients, and much more. So super excited to go over all this with you. And as I said before, you got any questions, please let me know. So as we kick off here, every year, we create a digital trends report to help practices see what's changing and, most importantly, what they need to act on for 2026. And I can tell you this year, the clarity has never been more important. As the economic environment tightens and patients' experiences continue to evolve, patients and practices are asking smarter, more strategic questions. Where is our revenue really coming from? Where are we losing the most time and money at our practices? And how can we build growth that lasts? At Intiveo, we believe the answer comes down to three distinct pillars. We have patient acquisition, active patient engagement, and appointment fulfillment. These aren't just buzzwords, they're the foundations of sustaining long-term success. When you strengthen all three pillars, you set your practice up to thrive in a rapidly shifting environment. So today, we're going to unpack what these 6 key trends are and how they're going to define the year ahead. Dental teams embrace augmented intelligence over artificial intelligence. So let's start off with AI, because you can't really talk about the future or a 2026 trends report without it. But here, there's going to be a little bit of a twist. In 2026, we're not just talking about artificial intelligence, but we're actually talking about augmented intelligence. Now, what's the difference, you might ask? AI really tries to replace human capabilities. Augmented intelligence does not, or AUL for short. It actually enhances it. It supports human decision-making rather than taking it over it. Think of it, your best friend, your right-hand man. Those are all kind of the ideas of augmented intelligence. And it's super, super helpful. We're seeing this be used by dental teams across North America by assisting in note-taking, predicting scheduling, automated follow-ups to surface insights, save time, spend more time with meaningful moments with patients. Clinically, augmented intelligence is helping dentists make better, faster decisions. Tools like oral scanners, radiograph analyzers are flagging potential issues, but it's still on the dentist to make the final call. So we're really excited to see how this is going to help shape not only how we work with patients, but how we leverage AUL to empower our staff and support our practices. Practices diversifying their offerings. The patient population is changing fast. The age of 65 group and older is growing, and by 2030, nearly 1 in 5 patients will actually be over 65. And this means that practices need to shift their model and rethink the services they're offering to their patients. More general practitioners are expanding into higher value, in-demand services like cosmetic dentistry, Botox and facial injectables, implants, prosthodontics, and teledentistry. Teledentistry in particular is gaining traction. It's taking more and more accessibility, giving patients who can't easily get into the office the same time, quality of care that dentistry is known for, and that can make this environment competitive. The next thing we want to talk about is broadening your offerings and focusing on the experience. How do you stand out and grow your practice in 2026? What makes you special? What makes you different? And what makes you better than the person beside you, the office next door? Really important that we understand that we realize that as the markets evolve, that our services must grow, and how we support patients and how we deliver value to patients also must change. Let's talk about something that every practice struggles with, and that's alignment. And I think more so than every practice, it's every team, because even the best teams can fall into the trap of misalignment. When daily operations don't line up with strategic goals, whether it's a single practice location or a DSO, the cost of that disconnect or that indifference is huge. And with staffing shortages, it's still an ongoing issue. And this misalignment can cause to burnout, inefficiencies, and frustrations. And it's definitely noticeable to your patients. In 2026, operational alignment is becoming non-negotiable. We all need to be circling around a singular outcome. We need to clarify what that looks like. We need to streamline our production goals and then tie them to the daily tasks that we're performing that get those results. Tracking performance with digital tools isn't a nice to have. It's a requirement to make sure that no patient falls through the cracks and that patients stay on track with their treatment plan. And standardizing workflows across multiple sites is becoming more and more necessary. Team alignment is what makes great teams produce unbelievable results. Profitability hinges on team performance, and the more you can align your people, your processes, your technology, the stronger your results are going to be, and the happier your staff are going to be. Number 4, oral care becomes holistic care. This is a shift that likely resonates with many of us. Your oral health is finally being recognized as part of the overall body experience and wellness. I've always said this, and I believe more and more people are embracing it, is your mouth is a microscope into the overall health of your body. And what that means is that we're seeing more and more evidence connecting oral health to systemic outcomes. Things like cardiovascular disease, pregnancy complications, immune response issues. This means that dentistry is no longer in a silo. It's essential in help diagnosing the overall body health. In response, practices are expanding their hygiene programs. They're adding more screening. They're investing in patient education and even collaborating with other health professionals to give that kind of care. We're seeing a rise in multidisciplinary wellness centers where patients can see a dentist, a physician, a massage therapist, or any other healthcare concern in one building or even provided by the same organization. The future of oral care is holistic. Practices that connect oral health with overall wellness will lead into the next era of patient care. And we're super excited to see how these things will be stronger together. Number 5, practices find more ways to acquire new patients. Now let's talk about visibility. You can offer the best services in town, but if your patients can't find you, it doesn't matter. And in 2026, we need to think about blending our digital strategies with our in-person strategies. We want to be investing in things like SEO, online ads, reputation management, online reviews, and other automated tools to help save us time and respond quicker. But we also want to build community. We understand that in-person environment, whether it be at open houses, local meetups, or patient appreciation events, these are the areas where people can bring a friend, where they can feel comfortable, and they can authentically learn who your practice is and what makes your practice special to build that trust and to attract new patients in a way that feels true to yourselves. We see that offices that are blending these new technologies together are meeting people where they are when they're there. So whether they're there in person at community events or whether they're online on Facebook. We want to make sure we have a cohesive message that's really going to entice patients to join our practice and to start receiving services. And this is how we can all stay ahead of the curve. Winning a new patient means meeting them where they're at, whether that's online or in person, automating where you can, but never underestimating the power of the human connection. We are social beings, and we definitely want to leverage that moving forward in 2026. Patient trust becomes a requirement for case acceptance. Finally, let's talk about trust. In 2026, trust isn't a nice to have, it's essential. With more and more information options coming available now than ever, patients are coming into more education and more discernment. If they don't feel informed, respected, including in the process, they're likely going to go elsewhere. Patients fundamentally want to be partners in their oral health rather than subjects of their treatment plans. And that's why successful practices are focusing on trust building at every step, using visual aids to explain the diagnosis, sending personalized pre-trip information like pre-op, post-op instructions, fasting instructions, tailoring it around what's the need and what does the patient need to do to be successful. Being super transparent about cost, options, how this might affect for follow-up. And then following through with post-care communication, whether it be a follow-on visit or inquiring about how their treatment went, any adverse side effects. Giving those patients the extra personal care is what's going to mean the difference for them. It's what's going to make patients feel loyal and trusted to your practice. Technology can reinforce that trust that education and automation can deliver. But like everything, we need to tie the personal care. We need to make sure patients read it, they're comfortable with it, and we need to make sure that they stay engaged through these summaries and videos and care tips to continue their treatment plans with your practice. In a patient's mind, trust is the foundation of care. Build it early, reinforce it often, and you'll see a stronger case acceptance and stronger loyalty among your patient base. Make 2026 a year of profound progress. As we look ahead, one thing is clear. Growth in 2026 won't come from quick wins. It's going to come from holistic, lasting strategy. From the moment a patient finds your practice online, to the time they walk through your office doors for the first time, to the care you deliver afterwards, it's all connected. And when you align around acquisition, engagement, and fulfillment, you're not just adapting to the future, you're helping shape what's required for you to be successful in it. At Intiveo, our mission is to help you do exactly that. Deliver smarter, trusted, more human-centered patient experiences that deliver real business growth. Thank you so much for joining me today, and let's make 2026 a year of profound progress and a year to be excited about. That's all we have for you today in prepared notes. However, I would love to take some questions with members of the audience if there is any available. Megan, do we have any coming through?
I don't see any at the moment, but there is a question box for everyone below, or you could pop them in the chat as well. We can hang out here for a few minutes to see if anyone has questions for you.
Well, if people have questions, I just keep talking. So, I think 2026 is going to be a great year. I think, a lot of things that you've been hearing in the market as little fragmented tidbits are really coming together to come and fulfill that holistic strategy. I think when you look at what are the outcomes, the results that you want from new patient acquisition, what are the results you need from, your active patients rebooking that next appointment, or whether it's, of your booked appointments, what's being successfully completed, those are the fundamental ingredients to ensuring a successful practice. That tied with the workflows and standard operating procedures that your all staff know and can execute against, tied with the overarching strategy of what makes you special, what makes you different, and what makes you better than the other practice. Tying all those things together is what's going to create your unique patient experience and why patients are going to choose to go to your practice over anyone else. So we're going to have a lot more resources in how we support those three pillars, how we support, what makes you special, what makes you different, what makes you better. But finally, also, how can we support the workflows and the standard operating procedures that your practice needs to do for these critical workflows, ensuring that you achieve your results, whether that's getting your appointment forms completed, whether it's getting your patients confirming their appointments, or showing up on time prepared. We want to help support you in achieving it all. So as I mentioned before, we do have that Intiveo Direct link where you can see more information about our Essentials package to deliver these key offerings to your practice and starting 2026 off on the right foot. For maybe practices aren't ready or already using Intiveo, you can look at the Digital Trends Report and see more information on, how can you plan for 2026 to be the best year ever. But obviously we covered everything that we need to because no questions have come through. So really want to thank you all for taking your time. If you do feel free to have a question myself directly, feel free to reach out to Josh, Josh, at Intiveo.com. I'd be happy to answer any questions or to connect you with the right person. Additionally, you can go on our website. You can follow our podcast, the Patient Experience Blueprint. We're going to have much more information on these trends as well as other great content for you to review. Super excited for 2026, and thank you for your time today. Really appreciate it and hope you have a great rest of your week.